Hello and welcome, whole food plant-based weight loss community. My name is Lacey Cattell, and I am the owner of Reimagine Nutrition, and I am also a holistic wellness and nutrition specialist. I specialize in plant-based nutrition, but with an emphasis on longevity and weight management. Now, Monday afternoons are going to be our regularly scheduled live coaching. So be aware. I want everyone to join us who can, and you can also send me questions. Just send me a quick message, or you can leave them on the post that lets you know that the live coaching will be taking place in the group. No link necessary, and I will be saving these and posting them over on my YouTube channel because Facebook now deletes them after a certain time period. Now, today we are talking about how our body loses weight and then it seems easy and then it doesn't, right? All of a sudden we hit this plateau even though we're eating the same foods and the same effort, yet it just leads to more frustration, right? So let's dive into what we can do to address this frustration. And before I continue, please let me know where you guys are tuning in from. So in the comments below, just give me a high five and let me know where you are from. So the first step I want to touch on is the one that most people skip, and it's finding your baseline. Now, I touch on this because I have had a couple clients who struggled with their weight loss. We were leading them into what foods they should eat, how to nourish their gut health, and taking all the right steps. But one thing that really impacted their commitment and their weight loss journey was consistency. Because when our bodies are not consistent with what we're eating and our movement, then it doesn't give us accurate feedback, right? So one of the first steps you can do is find your true baseline. Now, before you change anything, how much you're eating or how much you're actually moving, because we tend to overestimate or underestimate either one, right? So you could be eating more than you realize. You could be, even if it's healthy food, you could be eating less than you realize. You could be moving less than you think you are, or you could be overestimating your movement. All of these things really play into your weight loss journey. So we need to find consistency. And that's where I say find your total daily energy expenditure. It's the simple estimate of how much energy your body uses in a day. So think about, what it takes to live, think, move, digest, and function, right? So this is the first step. It's not a goal, it's not a rule, but it's a reference point. And we tend to skip this step and just jump straight into restriction and then wonder why nothing works long term, right? And so we want to pay attention to that so that we can get an accurate guidance of what our body's doing and where the food is taking us, okay? So that is my first task for you guys. Find your total daily energy expenditure. If you don't know what that is, just drop TDEE in the comments below and I'll send you the way to calculate that, okay? Because that is a step that so many of us forget and just skip, thinking we can go right into cutting out those foods when we really need to find a baseline, right? The second step that you can do is, sorry, my screen just went bonkers. Stop assuming less is the answer, okay? People tend to stall out because they cut out more, right? So what's missing? Your fiber is missing, all those yummy greens. You cut out carbohydrates thinking that's going to be the answer when your body needs them to thrive, to for that energy expenditure, right? You need enough protein. It's thermogenic, so your body actually burns more when it's digesting protein. And then you also need to move enough to support your metabolism, right? So all of this is going to impact how your body responds, and it's a way to get those metrics from your body so that you know what step needs to be taken next. So with that being said, I suggest tracking your intake. Now, I know a lot of people, I'm in, multiple whole food plant-based groups, and they're like, oh, as long as you're eating plant-based, you're fine. Just, stop eating when you're full, and, make sure you're eating lots of greens and vegetables, and then, do a little bit of protein and some carbohydrates. That's great for a while, but then your body adapts. And that's where we have to take into account tracking. So tracking your current intake for, a short window. It doesn't have to be the rest of your life, but I would track what you're eating for minimum 3 to 7 days, but ideally stretch that out to 14 days. Okay, so that's going to give you a more accurate look at what you're consuming. And that's why I say 14 days, because, that gives you two times of the weekend to take into consideration. And this isn't for you to judge yourself or to think, oh, well, I don't want to do it because I don't want to admit where I'm not being good, or, some type of micromanaging. It's just to observe the patterns so that you can see where your intake is occurring, and be honest with yourself, because again, this is going to give you that feedback in your body. So look for patterns. Are you skipping meals and then overeating later? Are you undereating during the day and snacking at night? Are you relying on the same foods over and over again? Okay, all of this is going to give you that biofeedback, because you want that consistency with your body. So another question to ask yourself and observe in your patterns is, am I fueling my body, or are you just trying to survive on what you think are these clean foods? Remember, we are typically overeating or undereating based on our own intuitive, I need to eat healthy, clean foods. Okay, so this is going to help you figure out what foods need to either be included back into your lifestyle, or some patterns that we need to break from. So this is simply a step for data collection and not self-criticism, because again, awareness is where the change comes from. And sometimes this is where things usually get uncomfortable, but as I tell my kids, you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. So the thing is, you paying attention to your eating patterns is going to help you in the long run, and being able to identify where those patterns are coming from. So those are the 2 steps that I suggest taking when you are first going into your journey and not sure where to begin. So first, find out your TDEE and let me know below if you need the calculation. And second, start tracking your food, because from there we can either start building or start decreasing, depending on A, your movement, and B, your consumption. So if you have any questions on that, be sure to leave me a comment below, or you can send me a message personally, and I will be happy to respond and have a discussion with you about this. And next week we will be talking about, okay, you have found your TDEE and you have been tracking, now what, right? Then we're going to work up to maintenance to see where you are falling short, whether it's over or under, and we will move forward from there, okay? So again, I look forward to hearing from you next week. We are going to be doing these lives every Monday afternoon. If you have any questions or concerns, send me a message, and I will be happy to assess and discuss the tracking that you have done. All right, everyone, take care and have a good afternoon.